Do you feel the Goram grip of nostalgia around your wallet, pulling you into the Reavers sector of space? Well, then you might be interested in purchasing Firefly, the 10th anniversary edition. Boom, right here in all its glory. And I'm here to tell you not to. You're not allowed. It's not for you. Go on, get out of here. Goodbye. Welcome to Room and Board. This is a series that I do whenever a campaign reaches over that $1 million bar on GameFound or Kickstarter or any sort of crowdfunding campaign. And this is a campaign to sort of fight the FOMO, to provide the devil's advocate to your excitement, because there's nothing worse than getting swept up in the marketing and swept up in the hype and then clicking back and spending a whole bunch of money of your hard-earned dollars and then getting a product down the line that you aren't going to enjoy or ever will enjoy. Not that I'm saying that's going to happen with Firefly, except maybe I might be saying it. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But this is just a video to put your excitement to the test. If you're interested in Firefly, we're going to take a look at sort of what's exciting and what some people may not enjoy. That's the purpose of this series. It's not to pick on the little guy. In fact, it's to support the little guy, you, because you're the one who doesn't have $1 million. And if you do have $1 million, well, the Room and Board Patreon is right down below. And if you don't have $1 million, well, you might as well give yourself a little thumbs up. You're one of the little guys. There's a little thumbs up. Give yourself a thumbs up. Click the thumb. Yeah, you did it. Thumbs up to you. I'm sorry for those of you who click the thumbs down. You must be so sad. But so that's the purpose of this series. That's the disclaimer that I always start out with. And I think it is important because I personally have fallen victim to this feeling numerous times, and I don't want it to happen to you. And there's something really exciting about a remount. Firefly is coming back. It's coming back to a screen near you, this screen, and then a tabletop presence because of the board game. But there is something exciting about a reprint, right? There's something exciting about hitting that 10th anniversary where people are still kind of talking about you and still interested in the game, even with the 10,000 games literally that have come out since this game came out. That's something worth celebrating. That's something to be excited about for those fans. And so I appreciate that. Something else that excites me about this game is the universe. I am a Firefly fan. I am. I'm not an avid fan, but I've seen the series. I enjoyed it enough that a girlfriend got me the Shepherd book graphic novel to learn about Shepherd Book's backstory. I've seen Serenity. I've looked up the synopses of the episodes that weren't aired or that were planned. I think it was a cool series. It was a fun, exciting series with Nathan Fillion. I mean, come on. And usually I keep talking about my excitement, but in an effort to keep these a little bit shorter and also in an effort of not making things up, that's kind of where my excitement about this game stops. So I've taken a deep dive into the rules and watched a few reviews and read some reviews, and we're going to cover all of that to provide you the alternate approach, to provide you the counter to that hype. And so let's start off with the list right away. Reason number 5 you shouldn't back Firefly. It might seem like a weird one, but I think it's the truth, is if you are a fan of Firefly. And that might seem weird. That might seem weird. You as a Firefly fan should be the target audience for this. This game skates by so much on the IP and on the theme and is enhanced so much if you actually understand the IP and live in that theme. But I'm making this my number 5 point as, I'm going to give you like another one too as part of it. But I'm making it my number 5 point because I think fandom leads us to make sometimes irresponsible purchasing decisions. Sometimes we get stuck with all of this stuff that isn't really representative of the fandom that we fell in love with. This is a long game. This is also my co-point number 5. This game is very long. On Board Game Geek, it has an average runtime of 120 minutes to 240 minutes. And the fact that it's at that 240-minute mark means it's probably going to be around 240 minutes, unless you've played it a lot, right? But if you've played it a lot and it's your favorite game, honestly, that's a reason to back. Get yourself more of the thing that you love. Sure, if your current copy is unacceptable to you in some way. And all credit to the GameFound campaign page. I love that they have an upgrade kit. So it'll give you this, the additional stuff, the additional little resin ships that it's giving you. I'm happy that it's there for people who want it. And it seems like there are people who want it, since that's been pledged 1,100 times. But with that 240 minutes, you could watch half of all of the Firefly episodes in existence. Okay, not really half, because they're like 42 to 45 minutes, and I know the premiere was actually a double episode, and so you get what I'm saying, though. It's a lot of time. And it's a lot of time to be spending in a thing that isn't necessarily capturing the Firefly genre. I don't think it doesn't capture the Firefly genre. From everything that I've read, it's that if you like Firefly, the game is enhanced. But I also think the beauty of the show is the characters and the world building, the character development, and here I don't really see a lot of that. Sure, you get to get your little crew cards. Where are they? Right, you get to choose your leader of the ship. Although whoever would pick Captain Jane, I don't friggin' know. You must have been dealt a bad hand. Right, you do get these cards. You do get to see these characters who have been part of the universe. And that sort of thing is fun, and it's fun to have that improve upon the fandom. But other than that, you're not really interacting with things in a way that feels why I personally like Firefly, which is because of the stories and the characters. It's more existing in this world that kind of puts itself forward as being a sandbox. And let's talk a little bit more about mechanics now. And reason number 4, which is if you don't like the pick up and deliver mechanic, because that's pretty much what you're doing in this game. In this game, I wish there was better videos here. In this game, you're going to get these sort of objective cards. They're going to be dealt to you. They're going to say things like, hey, load 2 passengers at this planet and then deliver 2 passengers to get paid. This is a very basic version of what a lot of cards in the deck will have you do. Now, you're going to have to pass other additional checks and roll some dice and see if that happens. But the core element of the game is, hey, I go to this planet, I get some stuff, and I go to this other place, and I deliver that stuff. You're basically doing all of the things that the Firefly did in between episodes in order to have enough money to provide the atmosphere for creating a story, right? This is in between an episode where they just literally did their job as smugglers or freight cargo people. And so the pick up and the deliver mechanic, for me, it's not like my least favorite mechanic. I think when I ranked all the board game mechanics ever, I think it ranked around 53-ish. Around a third of the way, there's like 150, there's actually 186, but I only ranked 150, it doesn't matter. A third of the way up. It's fine, it's a fine mechanic, but I think when you combine that with the length of the game, because every game you're gonna have an ultimate sort of goal. I don't know if I can find the cards. I'm not gonna. Every game you're gonna have an ultimate sort of goal of the number of types of missions you have to complete, and when somebody completes that, they win, right? But so the act of getting enough money to pay for upgrades and pay for your ship upgrades and add more crew that can help you get more money and do harder jobs, that sort of cycle and slow ramp requires you to keep on doing the same thing or a similar thing over and over again. And if you're into the theme, that can make it a little bit robust and exciting. And if you're not into the theme, or the theme isn't hitting the way you want it to, it maybe will feel fun at first and then slowly drags out a little bit over time, right? And so I really want you to think about, if you have any other games which require pick up and deliver, going to a place, getting things, and then going to another place to use those things. If that is an exciting mechanic for you, for me, it's average, right? It doesn't make me want to jump aboard a starship and develop an entirely new identity and sail across the stars with a ragtag group of heroes. No, it makes me want to do my standard job. It's good, it's a means to an end, but it can get a little repetitive, and I think that's worth noting if this is your first foray into the Firefly universe. Now, on that note, in terms of the same things over and over, reason number 3 is that there is a lot of luck and not as much sort of luck mitigation or risk mitigation. A lot of the game will come down to how well you roll. That's what I have been told. That's what I've seen in a few reviews. That's what's indicated by the mechanics of the game. There are going to be cards that you have to complete, checks that you'll have to make. And in order to pass these checks or these things or these events that are happening to you as you sail through the galaxy, because you don't know what you're going to encounter in the galaxy. It's a big galaxy. And especially if you're sailing into a sector that doesn't have police or is kind of a rebel sector, a lawless sector, well, you might encounter a little bit more difficulty, and you might need a crew of bruisers to make sure you don't get kidnapped and strung up upside down and punched in the face repeatedly, right? This is where your companions come in, and they help you mitigate these dice rolls, but these dice rolls still exist. This is how you will determine certain checks, and if you don't hit some of those checks, well, it's back to start and start all over again, right? It's if you have a problem with luck or luck mitigation, that's partly why the game does take so long, because you are trying to get all the members of your crew and put yourself in the right space so that you don't have to worry about bad rolls. You can just survive and complete consistent missions. But if you have a problem with that luck mitigation, then you're going to have a problem with that game. This game that is, as you can see, $300 Canadian before shipping. But we'll get to that in a second. Reason number 2, not to belabor that luck point, reason number 2 is that the game is just okay. And when you're paying $300, $220 US plus shipping, so $240, because shipping to the UK, $15, shipping to the US is $35. So it's $255 US for this game, over $300. This is, no. The quality of the game needs to be there, and the benefit of this being an anniversary edition is we know the quality of the game. We have had 10 years with this game to see if it sticks around. And I mean, hey, it's in the top 1,000, it's in the top 500 on Board Game Geek because I think of its fans, because of the supporter for the IP, because of those fans who do really enjoy it and enjoy those other mechanics. I think that's important. But it also has average reviews. This is a good one. I suppose the least kind review I could give of this game is that it's pick up and deliver with a bunch of random crap in between. And this also reinforces my point. There's an awful lot of luck here for such a long game. I think that the key point of tension is to trying to take the minimal amount of crew and equipment along with your missions and maximize profits. But if you slice that too thin, you'll be frustrated by the die rolling, right? It's that push and pull of what crew do I get? How many big jobs can I pull, etc. And so if you were to take the Firefly name off the box, would you be willing to spend $250 on this game, this average game? This game, by all accounts, that if you're looking for something better in a sandbox space style, you could play Star Wars Outer Rim, or Xia Legends of a Drift System. Both of those are much more highly regarded, will probably do the same thing, will probably give you more fun at the table, and then you can go back to watching Firefly and just enjoying the stories, right? This is my favorite review. Sell? If you scroll through the ratings, you'll see a bunch of 6s and 7s and 9s by people who are fans. But I think some of the best reviews that you can find on Board Game Geek often lie in that 6 to 7 rating because it's people who like it but have some issues with it. And if those issues are going to be the same as you, I think that's something that you should really take note of and not just back wholeheartedly because you like the IP, because that can only take you so far, and it is so expensive. It is so expensive for what it is, and it doesn't need to be that expensive. This is reason number 1. The resin models, everything that they've done here has been to deluxify an average game into something that is desirable to modern board game standards. But the truth of the matter is, I bet you, and I bet you because I did this right before I looked, but if I look up on Facebook Marketplace, I could instantly find a game of Firefly for 60 bucks Canadian. I've seen Firefly, and I'm going to do it now, even looking on eBay. You can find a copy of the game on eBay for $50 Canadian. Buy it now. And that's not the only one. Firefly and the game of 5 expansions. Starting bid 100 US. Ends in a day. And this is, I mean, for 100 US, you get all the expansions. Yeah, that's $120 cheaper than what they're trying to sell you the 10th anniversary edition for. There are so many copies of this available. I can't tell you how many times I have seen this game and have had the opportunity to purchase this game and have passed because I didn't think it looked that good personally. I thought it looked fine. I thought it looked like an okay IP implementation, but rested too significantly on the back of that IP and not enough on the actual gameplay itself. And those are the sorts of games that I'm not really interested in. If the IP is there and the gameplay is there, oh baby, of course it's going to be amazing. Oh, here's another one, $35 US. Pretty good condition, right? I have this thing about anniversary editions where I've always been confused by their very nature. I love what they kind of stand for, that they're a celebration of the game, sure, and that they give collectors or fans a way to get a really nice, deluxeified copy of it. But often what I find is people purchase them as collector's items. They purchase them not to play, but to sit on a shelf. They purchase them to keep in shrink and sell to somebody who wants that sort of sense of exclusivity. This could have been a Firefly reprint, right? But the fact that they are billing this as a 10th anniversary edition, they've blinged it out. They're making sure you can get every expansion. I think that's great. But they've decided to make the ship's resin, which you will not find in a lot of games. You'll find plastic, either PVC or ABS. Resin is a lot more expensive and a lot more fragile as well. The chances of it breaking on the table are more significant. But they're like, no, we're doing resin. We're throwing in every single promo card. We're giving that as the little carrot because these promo cards are naturally exclusive as well, right? They're meant for promotional purposes. They're meant to have this sort of rarefied status that when you get it, you feel special because not many other people have it. Anniversary editions sort of prey upon that idea of nostalgia, and I believe are mainly used to sell the same game to their existing customers again. Once you've hit up your customer base and they have your product and their product isn't going anywhere, the only way you can get them to buy that product again is by making it a little bit fancier, right? And upping the ante and increasing the stakes of that thing. And I think that's exactly what this anniversary edition does and what a lot of anniversary editions do. And I think it's a bit ludicrous because in some cases, you're reprinting a game that you cannot find anywhere, but that's not the case for Firefly. There are look, oh, K-Boob got it for $5 and is selling it for, 50 Canadian. Good job, K-Boob. You really took money out of somebody else's pocket based upon their fandom. Congratulations, right? But the amount of copies out there previously owned. Oh, look, they're aware there's a Kickstarter going, $100. I've seen this for like 20, 52, $50 Canadian, 45 Canadian, 49 Canadian, 39 Canadian, 70 Canadian, 58 Canadian, 77 Canadian. There's a lot that are things that are really hard to find. Battlestar Galactica, when it came back as Unfathomable, I thought that was great because it meant people weren't paying insane prices. This, they're just deciding to put the insane price themselves and hope that people don't realize the actual gameplay experience that they're getting is that of an ordinary one. That, sure, it might be worth a $60 price tag if you like Firefly, yeah, but I really don't believe it's worth a $220 price tag. $250 after shipping. $320 if you live in Canada like me. So there we go. I don't want to belabor that point too much. You get the picture. It's available for you to get. It's too expensive for what it is. It's preying upon your own nostalgia and hoping that it gets you to purchase based on that and not actually based upon the experience that it will provide down the line. I think Firefly is a fun series. I think it's a cool world. And I think if you want to experience that world, well, check eBay or Facebook Marketplace because it is readily available for a fraction of the cost. Do you live in San Francisco, California? Get it local shipping for 20 bucks. Come on now. Anyway, those are the 5 reasons you shouldn't back Firefly, the board game. I really wasn't sure if I was going to do one because I didn't feel like I needed to. And then shout out to whoever in the comments of Stalker was like, I think I'll just go buy Firefly instead. Honestly, you should buy Stalker over Firefly if that's the distinction. I think the gameplay of Stalker, even though we haven't seen much of it, I think it will be better based upon Awakened Realms' track record. I think the minis you get will be more satisfying if you're comparing those 2 pledges of the 220 to the 220, right? Because there's about 220 for the minis as well in Stalker. I don't necessarily think either of them are worth your time and your money in this day and age of board games, but if I had to rank them, that's what I would do. And I figured I'd bring that up because, you know, I had to do one about Stalker very recently as well. Anyway, those are my 5 reasons. I am absolutely willing to see where I'm wrong here. We've been having some discussions about it on the Discord. I've watched a bunch of reviews. I've read through a bunch of other text reviews. I try to make myself sort of the Rotten Tomatoes of the board gaming industry in that I'm mushy and I'm smell. But I'm absolutely willing to hear where I'm wrong, and I love hearing in the comments what your own thoughts are about this game. If you've tried it, if you are excited, it's a great meeting ground for everybody to kind of talk and discuss, and I'm very appreciative of everybody who does comment. So thank you for being here. Thanks for commenting down below. Give yourselves a thumbs up. Click your little thumbs up. Good job. You deserve it. Unless, of course, you gave yourself a thumbs up before, in which case, don't you dare touch it. My name is Chris George, and I do not have a catchphrase, but I do have a dream that I'll edit this one before I go to sleep. I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch me.